Hello, hello Pisces. Welcome to your August 2018 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Pisces. And go ahead, if there is a specific intention that you want to set for this, you are welcome to do that now. If there's a specific answer that you're looking for, you can go ahead and just ask for the information to come through during this reading. Feel into your body. Take a few deep breaths into the diaphragm. And just acknowledge anything that comes up today for yourself. No judgment, just acknowledgement, and it will shift from there. Okay. So the first thing coming up for Pisces is openness. Relax your striving and invite gentle curiosity. Be willing to see a new perspective. Don't overplan. Leave room for the magic to breathe. Okay, so that is something that if you have a lot of mutable energy, it might be a little bit easier for you. But it's definitely about don't overplan or don't over fantasize. That tends to be another issue. So just to be a little bit more open to good things happening. The second thing we have is adventure. This card is reading a little bit like the Fool. Doing things you've never done, exploring, getting out there, just trying to start something that's going to turn a new leaf. So I see you as evolving over this period. And the affirmation I have for you is generosity. I give generously to those around me. No matter how much or how little I have, I know there is more than enough to go around. And that the key is to allow it to keep going around without stopping. If I stop the flow, I'm like the one person at the stadium who doesn't do the wave. Okay, so give a little. You need more time. Give a little time. You need more money. Maybe give someone an extra tip or donate a little bit. It doesn't have to be extreme. It can be really, really, really small. It's just about getting the ball rolling with abundance. The central energy for Pisces is the Page of Swords. Let me see the crossing energy first before I start talking about it. The Eight of Cups. So it's kind of like you have to start doing something differently, and it's going to be around the way that you think about things. Both the Page of Swords is about innovation, and again, doing things differently. And the Eight of Cups is about a change in perspective. So you have both of these energies going on in the center of the spread. So it's all going to be about openness, adventure, carving a new path, thinking about things differently, perceiving things differently. And so it might be that the way you've been thinking about everything has been throwing a wrench into your plans, or it's been throwing a wrench into the progression of whatever you want to have happen. So now you're loosening up on that so you can see it come to fruition. What's shifting out for you this month is the Two of Pentacles. I think that there might have been something up in the air. This actually looks more like a situation. I'm going to clarify it to see. Because this might have been out of your control, actually. Like something was just kind of in limbo or not working out or not making sense. Temperance. Yeah, so there's going to be some resolution to whatever that is. And you're going to get a whole lot of clarity. So this is going to clear up whatever you're telling yourself, I don't know how this is going to play out, or I don't know what's going to happen with this. It's clearing up, so you can trust that. The oncoming energy, the Seven of Cups, too many options. So you go from having clarity and this resolving, doing things differently, and then you open a whole new can of worms. It's like then the floodgates open. So whatever you want, you're getting a whole lot of. Wheel of Fortune, yeah, I can go any way. So it's about, again, being open. That's what happened here. This is kind of like that Wheel of Fortune energy. Leave room for the magic to breathe. Leave room for good things to happen. But it looks like you have a lot of options at your disposal coming forward. So I think that it's going to be really dependent on whether or not you really believe your new thoughts, your new perspective. It can't be artificial. It has to be something new that you can work with, right? So if I were to sit here and tell you, just be more positive, that's probably not going to work for you. So you have to kind of navigate what way of thinking is going to be something you can believe, makes you feel good, and is going to be supportive of the things that you have going on. So just remember that it has to work for you. It's not just going to come in some pre-packaged form where you are, getting, how do I put this? It's like, it's not just going to come from an inspirational quote. It's actually something you probably have to construct yourself. The outward manifestation is the Empress. So divine femininity, receiving. This is also the archetype of the mother. I think you're taking really good care of yourself. And the more you take care of yourself, the better quality of things come into your life. So it's just about matching the internal to the external. And if you're doing the right things, right? So if you're doing things that are bad for yourself, body, emotionally, physically, mentally, it's going to meet you externally. If you're doing things that are really caring, kind, compassionate, and loving for yourself, then it's going to pan out and be reflected in your environment. So just remember that the internal is reflected in the external. So if you want something to move forward, or if something feels stuck to you, then try working on yourself instead and see what happens. I think you're going to get better results by doing the work yourself than by trying to push something in the external. This is a feminine month for you. And what that means is you have to focus on the yin, the receiving and receptivity that goes along with that energy. This is not about you stepping into the pursuer role unless it's something like putting out job applications or initiating a conversation with the person you're interested in. Those would be, that's fine. But what you want to keep in mind is that energetically, we're talking about quality. The quality of people, the quality of opportunities, the quality that you want to have in your life, it all comes from you being kind to yourself, you being gentle with yourself, and you taking really good care of yourself this month. So you cannot fool around with slacking off and not being kind to yourself like that. It's just not going to work for you this month. So be aware of that. If you're feeling really stuck, you need to depend on how you're talking and treating yourself so that you can see improvements. In the subconscious, we have the 10 of Cups. I think that this is a reiteration of, excuse me, one second. This is a reiteration of what you really, really want being sourced in the external. So it's funny that this is the internal experience and this is the external experience, but they're reversed. Do you see this? Like normally, I would expect for the tarot to make sense, right? It would make more sense for the Empress to be on the internal. But what this is really showing in a dramatic fashion is that if you want the Ten of Cups, you've got to do this. Because it looks like this is the desire, this is what you want, but it's showing up on the internal experience, which means that your achievement of the Ten of Cups in whatever capacity, whatever that happy, joy is for you, is solely dependent on your internal work. Okay, so that is, it's interesting. They actually look like they're flip-flopped, like they're talking to each other in this reading. So it's just, you want to remember that you're getting close. It's like you're in the process of getting what you want, but the kindness and self-care and compassion are non-negotiable for you this month. Okay. The advice for you is the Moon. It's okay to fumble around with this. If you're like, Sydney, what are you talking about self-care? I do this, I do that. I'm doing all these things that are good for me. I don't know. It's kind of like you have to get innovative. You have to focus on the pain points, the thoughts, the mental experience that you're having, because this is a very cerebral card. The way you're thinking about it. Think about that Gemini energy. And so it's okay to be confused about it or not know all the answers or not know what exactly you should be doing at this time. That's okay. You don't need to worry about it right now. You don't need to have all the answers, but just keep in mind when August comes, or if you're in the middle of August, that you're going to have to address the way you're thinking about things, and anything that is sticky, that doesn't feel good, that isn't quite right, you're going to be in a position where you have the opportunity to change that, and it is through trial and error, right? Maybe you try some sort of like thought or perspective change, and it doesn't work for you, or it doesn't feel quite right. That's okay too. So the Moon is just reminding you, fumble around with this and get your bearings. You don't have to have it all figured out before you go into August. It's just calling you to explore a change in perspective. The external influences, we have the Ace of Swords. Man, it's going to be a heady month for you. Like just very cerebral, very cerebral. So it's in your best interest to, again, be open to doing things differently, be open to innovation. I see this as like Pisces getting a makeover. That's seriously what this month is about. You get an internal makeover, and it's going to rock your world, and it's going to show up in a way that is unexpected, because you have the Wheel of Fortune sitting here and the Seven of Cups. So the sky is the limit. Things are really going to open the floodgates if you do this internal makeover. So it's up to you whether or not you want to do it and whether or not you want to apply the effort to it. But that is what is at stake. That's kind of the energy of what's going on here. And so it's at your discretion how far you want to take this. The hopes and fears, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So it looks like your hope is that you get everything that you want, and that you're able to see the benefits of your efforts. I think that's everyone's hope, but it's more about, okay, if I'm going to do all this work, if I'm going to take all this time and do things differently, then I want to see payoff. That's more of the energy of the Nine of Pentacles than anything else. So I completely understand why you might be experiencing resistance if you're feeling really defeated, like no matter what I do, I don't get any results. You know, we all have times when we can feel and think that way. So it's kind of like you have options, you have resources, you have things that you can do. It's up to you. You have agency over your own life, and only you can decide how much of a change you're willing to make this month. But I think for you, it does have payoff. It's just about giving it time to work rather than expecting overnight changes. The outcome of August, 7 of Swords. I'm going to clarify this because it's like, well, yeah, we know what you're leaving behind, duh. You're leaving this old belief system behind. Let me see. Daughter of Spring. So this is the Page of Rods. It's kind of like you have more energy now that you are thinking about it. It's weird. A lot of signs have been doing work, all in different ways, about how to get your energy back, how to get the ball rolling, how to get things moving again. And that's also what you're working towards, because this looks like stagnation. Stagnation is leaving. You have this innovative period where you're really turning things around so that you can get this 10 of Cups and take really good care of yourself and see this in your external experience. And then it's like you do the work, you get the options, you get all of the abundance in terms of doing things differently. It does reap benefits. It's just about this shifting out and being open to finding a perspective that works for you. And as you leave it behind, it gives you the necessary energy to just progress even further. Okay, so that is what's coming up here. Now, as usual, I have the timeline. So first, second, third, and fourth quarter, that's where you're going to be wrapping up August. The first quarter is comparison. Is it healthy comparison, or are you using something as a model, right? So there's two ways that this can pan out. It's the unhealthy comparison, the my life isn't good enough because I don't have that. That's unhealthy comparison. Healthy comparison is I admire somebody, and so I would like to adopt qualities that can support me in being aligned with that vibration. That totally works. That's healthy comparison. It's, oh wow, I recognize that in you. That means that I have it too. And I think I want to amplify that a little bit more. I think I could use more of that. So it's going to be one or the other for you, but it's going to be a good time to look at your role models, look at your mentors, look at the people who really have an influence in your life. And those are the people that you can take notes from. So just remember that if you spot it, you got it. So that's how this works. It's not like somebody has something that you can't have. Second quarter, pleasure and pain. This is where you have the growing pains. Okay, so it's like, I immediately got, oh, that's growth. That's like heavy, heavy growth in the second quarter. It's all about you changing the way you're thinking. And that is uncomfortable, trying on in the beginning. Remember, I told you, you have to be patient with seeing the results. So it's kind of like it might hurt to grow or change or take responsibility for certain things or rely on your autonomy more or whatever is changing for you. But that is where all of the goodies are at. So you want to make sure that you keep doing it, that you're being persistent with it, and that you trust that there's going to be payoff, because you're getting the pleasure through walking through the painful pieces. Third quarter, opportunity. Something's up in the third quarter. What's the opportunity that's coming through? Is it a person? Is it a job? Is it a relationship? Is it a class that you want to try? Is it you seeking out your own opportunities? Or it's something that maybe it's just falling in your lap, or it's that stagnation I was talking about that finally clicks and gets flowing. So this is something you really have to look forward to, because this is when you start to see the Seven of Cups pop up, where it's like, oh yeah, things are now flowing a lot better now that I'm taking care of business. And it all comes from doing the work of the Empress. I am telling you, you have to do this. And it really is like, oh, you want this? Okay, we'll get to work. Like, that's kind of how the tarot is having a sense of humor with this whole reading. So you've got something going on, third quarter. And then wrapping up the month, we have chakra love. Don't forget to take care of your energetics. I always remind people, if you are working with a practitioner, you know, whether or not it's me, because I do energetic work with people, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you trust somebody, or that you're doing things safely, or that you just feel aligned with whatever person you're working with. You guys know that I care about your energetic safety and your energetic health, so it's just about giving yourself some extra TLC this month, especially towards the end. If there's something that you need, then just try to find it somewhere. Just make sure you feel safe, make sure you feel aligned with that person. Okay. 3-card pick as usual. You're welcome to pick a card, any card, ask a question. Okay, card number 1. 7 of Wands. I think you're going to be giving this a lot of effort. And this card is reminding you even more than the others, be patient, be patient, be patient. That is immediately what came up. If you're doing the work, I promise there's payoff. You just have to hang in there. You have to hold on. And that is going to pan out the way it's supposed to. Card number 2, we have the 5 of Swords. So it looks like you are navigating some shadow work. That is the immediate thing that came up. Like, okay, you get a big chunk of healing to do during August. So let yourself breathe through it. Double down on self-care. Double down on reaching out to support systems. Double down on your tools and all of the things that you know to do that make you feel better. And that's how you can deal with this. This is internal for sure. The 5 of Swords is just about you navigating shadow. In this deck, when it shows up here, that's what my intuitive hit is. And card number 3, 10 of Cups. Okay, I love this card. I think it's so cute. I really think that you can get what you want as you do the work. Okay, so it's all about the progress that you're making this month is building a foundation, and I think you start to get a glimpse of it in August. You're not going to see it all the way. It's more about just piece by piece, you're chipping away at it. So it's kind of like, yes, you're getting what you want. I think that it's going to be an easier month for you. Like if you're doing shadow work, you're dealing with some really heavy healing if you picked this card. This is like a stark contrast. Like you guys are going to get a much larger payoff if you work through this shadow stuff. But if you're, you might get to chill out a little bit if you have the 10 of Cups. It just looks like things really start to go your way since this is the happy, happy, joy, joy card. So it's like you have room to breathe. Still got to do the work though. Okay, so that is all that I have for you. Don't forget, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you are welcome to check me out. All of the links in the description box. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I will see you later, Pisces. Thank you so much.